drip. Yeah! Sway. Live from the peak of recorded human civilization. This is Akira The Don. This is Meaningwave Live. Ain't never been a better time to be alive. Ain't never been a time when we were more equipped to deal with whatever gets thrown in our general direction, baby. Let's get it. Woo!
Very frequently what I'm doing as a therapist is helping people have a life that would work, you know, and you can parameterize that. What do you need? How about some friends? How about an intimate relationship with someone that you can trust, that maybe has a future? That'd be good. How about a career that puts you in a dominance hierarchy somewhere, so at least you've got some possibility of rising, some possibility of stabilizing yourself, and a schedule and a routine, because no one can live without a routine. You just forget that. If you guys don't have a routine, I would recommend, like, you get one going, because you cannot be mentally healthy without a routine. You need to pick a time to get up, whatever time you want, but pick one and stick to it, because otherwise you dysregulate your circadian rhythms, they regulate your mood. And eat something in the morning. I had lots of clients who've had anxiety disorders. I had one client who was literally starving. Very smart girl. There was very little that she liked. She kind of tried to subsist on like half a cup of rice a day. She came to me and said, I have no energy. I come home, all I want to do is watch the same movie over and over. Is that weird? And I thought, well, it depends on how hard you work. You know, it's a little weird, but whatever. You need to regulate your use of drugs and alcohol, most particularly alcohol, because that does in a lot of people. You need a family, like the family you have, your parents and all that. It'd be nice if you all got along, you could work on that. That's a good thing to work on. And then, you know, you probably need children at some point. And that's life. And that's life. That's what life is. Human beings have a nature. There's things we need. And that's life. That's what life is.
Yeah.
Human beings have a nature. There's things we need.
He's got clout.
Oh boy. Yeah, what time is it? Yo, what time is it, Fred Rogers? Let me know. We need to know. What are the vibes, Fred Rogers?
It's a beautiful day in the sky. Perfect, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? It's a beautiful day in the sky. Perfect, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine?
Hey.
Won't you be mine?
Yeah.
I have always wanted to have a neighbor. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well stay. We might as well stay. We might as well stay. We might as well. It's a beautiful day in the sky. Perfect, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? It's a beautiful day in the sky. Perfect, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor. Just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well stay. We might as well stay. We might as well stay. We might as well. Might as well. Might as well.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Hooray, hooray. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Hooray, hooray. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Hooray, hooray.
Hercules on the vocals there. Hurry up, make some throw some diamonds for that Hercules if you're feeling that boy.
My neighbor.
Man, shouts out to Fred Rogers all day long.
So I wake up early. I wake up at 4:45. I like to have that psychological win over the enemy. The enemy. When I wake up in the morning and I don't know why, I'm thinking about the enemy. What they're doing, and I know I'm not active duty anymore, but it's still in there that there's a guy that's in a cave somewhere and he's rocking back and forth and he's got a machine gun in one hand and a grenade in the other hand and he's waiting for me.
I've mentioned to people that they should clean up their rooms. That's become quite the internet meme. But I'm really serious about it because it's really hard to do that. And it isn't just that you clean it up. You also make it beautiful. 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 It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile. What's really cool is if you learn to make something beautiful, even one thing, if you can just make one thing in your life beautiful, then you've established a relationship with beauty. And then you can start to expand that relationship with beauty out into the world, like into other elements of your life. And that is so worthwhile. It's just incredibly, crazily worthwhile. Make it beautiful. 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 It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile. People are terrified of it. People are terrified of color. They paint their walls beige. They're terrified of art. They buy some mass-produced thing because they don't want anybody laughing at them for their lack of taste. And they would get laughed at because they have no taste. But you have to, well, it's right. Because what do you know, right? You have to develop it. And so you're going to stumble along and make mistakes to begin with. And you're going to show yourself. Because if you buy, I think this is pretty. And, somebody comes over and goes, hey, what's up with you? It's kind of hard on your self-esteem. But it's you're stumbling towards the right. You're stumbling towards the kingdom of God. That's what you're stumbling towards when you try to make an
aesthetic decision.
Make it beautiful. 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 It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really worthwhile.
The sense that you just have to go on with it. That life is a must.
When you say to anything spontaneous, see, life is spontaneous. It happens, in the words of the Taoists, Ziran, which means of itself so. That's their Chinese expression for nature. What happens by itself, what isn't pushed, but it just pops up, you see? you came into being, you know? It happens in a kind of a plop way like that. See? Now, you can't tell that process. You ought to happen. You must happen. Because that puts a bind on it. In the same way as when you have a child and all the relatives have come to a party on Thanksgiving, the child into the middle of all the relatives and say, now dear, play. Now dear, play. Now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play. Say now dear, play. Now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play. See, it absolutely bugs the child to do it like that. And so this is the problem for every artist. Because an artist is a man who makes his living by playing. Whether he's dancing, painting, or playing music, or whatever it is. And he has to overcome this problem. He has to know how to play in public at a given time on an appointment. See? And that's not an easy thing to learn. But when you catch on to the trick of it, you can do it. To play on demand. That's the hardest lesson of life. To contrive what is called by my Japanese artist friend Saburo Hasegawa a controlled accident.
Yeah.
Now dear, play. Now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play. Hey, say now dear, play. Hey, now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play. Now dear, play. Now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand. Say now dear, play. Now dear, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand.
Yeah, baby. Meaningwave Live. Right here at the peak of recorded human civilization. We're getting down. Make some noise, throw your wave emojis if you are feeling this thing. Yeah.
Be me. Go on Amazon to buy a stainless steel popcorn machine. I love popcorn. I love popcorn. Add my shit to cart. See, they have an upgrade to Amazon Prime called Amazon Prime X. Claims to deliver your order in under 10 minutes. I think it's bullshit. Free trial, so I use it anyway. I love popcorn.
Yeah.
I love popcorn. I love popcorn. I love popcorn. Check out. 10 minutes go by. Think, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to be true. But then, knock knock, open up the door, it's real. With the non-stop pop stainless steel. My face, when X gon' give it to you. If I can wait for you to get it on your own, X
Gone delivered.
X gon' deliver to you.
Yeah. Right. Make some noise for that historian in the place.
I love popcorn.
Yeah.
I love popcorn. I love popcorn.
internet historian. Internet historian times Akira The Don Be Me album in stores now. It's at Naval.
The foundation of learning is reading. I don't know a smart person who doesn't read and read all the time. The problem is, what do I read? How do I read? Because for most people it's a struggle, it's a chore. So the most important thing is just to learn how to educate yourself, and the way to educate yourself is to develop a love for reading. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. It's that simple. Everybody I know who reads a lot loves to read. And they love to read because they read books they loved. It's a little bit of a catch-22, but you basically want to start off just reading wherever you are and then keep building up from there until reading becomes a habit. And then eventually you will just get bored of the simple stuff. You may start off reading fiction, then you might graduate to science fiction, then you may graduate to non-fiction, then you may graduate to science or philosophy or mathematics or whatever it is. But take your natural path and just read the things that interest you until you kind of understand them, and then you'll naturally move to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. The next thing and the next thing. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. It's that simple. At some point, there's too much out there to read, and even reading is full of junk. There are actually things you can read, especially early on, that will program your brain a certain way. And then later things that you read, you will decide whether those things are true or false based on the earlier things. So it is important that you read foundational things. And the ultimate is when you walk into a library and you look at it up and down and you don't fear any book. You know that you can take any book off the shelf, you can read it, you can understand it, you can absorb what is true, you can reject what is false, and you have a basis for working that out that is logical and not purely just based on opinion. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. It's that simple. The beauty of the internet is the entire Library of Alexandria times 10 is at your fingertips at all times. It's not the means of education or the means of learning are scarce. The means of learning are abundant. It's the desire to learn that's scarce. So you really have to cultivate that desire.
Yeah.
And it's not even cultivated, you have to not lose it.
Right.
Children have a natural curiosity. If you go to a young child who's first learning language, they're pretty much always asking, what's this, what's that, why is this, who's that? They're always asking questions. But one of the problems is that schools and our educational system and even our way of raising children replaces curiosity with compliance. And once you replace the curiosity with the compliance, you get an obedient factory worker, but you no longer get a creative thinker. And you need creativity. You need the ability to feed your own brain to learn whatever you want. Read what you love until you love to read.
You love
until you love to read. Read what you love until you love to read. Until you love to read. It's that simple.
Read what you love till you love to read. Read what you love till you love to read. Yeah, make some
noise for Naval. Make some noise for Naval out there. That's from the How to Get Rich Volume 1. Volume 2 coming soon. It's 2020. Epic activities only.
What?
Here we go. We got David Goggins in the house. Make some noise for David Goggins.
Akira.
Yeah.
It's okay. 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 People say, man, you cuss all the fucking time. Why? Well, I hate to say it, the best way for me to get how I feel across, I can't sit here and say, you know what, yeah, I went through the whole weekend, man, it was really hard. That motherfucker takes your damn soul, rips it inside out, and then they say, now we're going to fucking start. It allows me to express where I was at a point of my life. If I don't give you all of me, why the hell am I here? How will you learn from me? People take so much offense to me. You will never learn from people if we always tap dance around the truth. We tap dance around the truth by finding the right words so I don't hurt you because you have thin skin. No. Tighten up, people. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called one day. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called one day. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called nigger one day. You might be called some Jewish word or some faggot or gay word. It's okay. Hey, let them call you that.
Let them.
What are you going to do now? They don't own your life. How are you going to control that now? How are you going to flip it upside down and say, Roger that, now I'm going to harness this shit and you'll read about me years from now? How? That's the question. How are you going to do that? Thicken your skin. Become more of a human being. Don't be afraid of the reflection in the mirror. Because that's all you can be afraid of. Once you overcome the reflection in the mirror, you've done it. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called one day. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called one day. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, make some noise in the
Chef David Goggins. Make some noise for you down south while you're at it. It's that Meaningwave live, baby. You're locked in. Live from the peak of recorded human civilization is Akira The Don.
He's got clout.
Yeah, baby. Like I was saying, man. And like David Goggins be saying, everything great is on the other side of suffering and sacrifice. That's just facts.
This is the Peter Pan story. Peter Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking. It's not an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up. Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach. The crocodile, it's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that. He ends up king of the Lost Boys. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. And who the hell wants to be king of the Lost Boys? And he also sacrifices the possibility to have a real relationship with a woman, because that's Wendy. She wants to grow up and have kids and have a life. She accepts her mortality. She accepts her maturity. Peter Pan has to content himself with Tinkerbell. She doesn't even exist. She's like the fairy of porn. She doesn't exist. She's the substitute for the real thing. There's a sacrificial element in maturation. You have to sacrifice the pluripotentiality of childhood for the actuality of a frame. Well, why would you do that? One reason is it happens to you whether you do it or not. You can either choose your damn limitation, or you can let it take you unaware when you're 30, or even worse, when you're 40. That is not a happy day. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. When you're 25, you can be an idiot. It's no problem. Okay, well now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. Yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant. And that's an ugly thing. You choose your damn sacrifice because the sacrifice is inevitable. But at least you get to choose it. The problem with being a child is that all you are is potential. And it's really low resolution. You could be anything, but you're not anything. So then you go and you adopt an apprenticeship. At least you become something. And when you're something, that makes the world open up to you again. If you're a really good plumber, then you end up being far more than a plumber. You end up being a good employer. Run a business, you train some other people, you enlarge their lives, you're kind of a pillar of the community, you have your family. It's family. Once you pass through that narrow training period, which narrows you and constricts you and develops you at the same time, then you can come out the other end with a bunch of new possibility at hand. And Jung talked about that. He thought that part of the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not.
All the benefits in life come from compound interest. Whether it's in relationships or making money or in learning, compound interest is a marvelous force. You know, you start out with 1x what you have, and then if you increase 20% a year for 30 years, it's not that you got 30 years times 20% added on. It was compounding, so it just grew and grew and grew until you suddenly got a massive amount of whatever it is, whether it's goodwill or love or relationships or money. the benefits in life come from compound interest. All the benefits in life come from compound interest. Long-term games with long-term people. Long-term games with long-term people. Long-term games are good not just for compound interest, they're also good for trust. For example, you're in Silicon Valley where people are doing business with each other and they know each other, they trust each other, then they do right by each other because they know this person will be around for the next game. But essentially, if you want to be successful, you have to work with other people. You have to figure out who can you trust over a long, long period of time that you can just keep playing the game with them, so that compound interest and high trust will make it easier to play the game and will let you collect a major reward, which are usually at the end of the cycle. All the benefits in life come from compound interest. All the benefits in life come from compound interest. Long-term games with long-term people. Long-term games with long-term people.
Yeah, make some noise for Naval. We're going Naval double track right now. This is 2 Sons Naval. Oh my goodness. Yeah. We got Mama down over here bringing me a bowl. Yo.
Akira The Don. He's got power.
Yeah.
To the extent that specific knowledge is taught, it's on the job. It's through apprenticeships, and that's why the best careers are the apprenticeship careers, because those are things society still has not figured out how to train and automate yet. The classic line here is that Warren Buffett went to Benjamin Graham when he got out of school, and Benjamin Graham was the author of The Intelligent Investor, and sort of modernized or created value investing as a discipline. And Warren Buffett went to Benjamin Graham and offered to work for him for free. And Graham said, actually, you're overpriced. Free is overpriced. And Graham was absolutely right. When it comes to a very valuable apprenticeship, like the type that Graham was going to give Buffett, Buffett should have been paying him a lot of money. And that right there tells you that those are skills worth knowing. Specific knowledge also tends to be technical and creative. So on the bleeding edge of technology, on the bleeding edge of art, on the bleeding edge of communication, even today, for example, there are probably meme lords out there on the internet who can create incredible Akira that will spread the idea to millions of people.
He's got clout.
Incredible memes that will spread the idea to millions of people. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession. Follow your own obsession.
Yo, trust me, wave emojis in the chat, smash that like, spread that link, all that. This Meaningwave live. That was Naval. And this is your boy JBP.
He's got clout.
Hey.
It isn't merely that your fate depends on whether or not you get your act together and to what degree you decide that you're going to live out your own genuine being. It isn't only your fate. It's the fate of everyone that you're networked with. There's 7 billion people in the world, and who are you? You're just one little dust mote among that 7 billion, and so it really doesn't matter what you do or don't do, but that's simply not the case. It's the wrong model, because you're at the center of a network. You're a node in a network. You're a node in a network. You're a
Node in a network. Node in a network.
You'll know 1,000 people, at least over the course of your life. And they'll know 1,000 people. And that puts you one person away from 1 million, and 2 persons away from 1 billion. And so that's how you're connected. And the things you do, they're like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples thoughts move outward, and they affect things in ways that you can't fully comprehend. It means that
the things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think.
the power of realizing that is that it actually starts to matter what you do. And you might say, well, that's better than living a meaningless existence. It's better for it to matter. But I mean, if you really ask yourself, would you be so sure?
The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think.
You had the choice. I can live with no responsibility whatsoever. The price I pay is that nothing matters. Or I can reverse it and everything matters. But I have to take the responsibility that's associated with that. It's not so obvious to me that people would take the meaningful path. You know, when you say, well, nihilists suffer dreadfully because there's no meaning in their life and they still suffer. Yeah, but the advantage is they have no responsibility. So that's the payoff, and I actually think that's the motivation. Say, well, I can't help being nihilistic. All my belief systems have collapsed. It's like, yeah, maybe. Maybe you've just allowed them to collapse because it's a hell of a lot easier than acting them out. And the price you pay is some meaningless suffering, but you can always whine about that and people will feel sorry for you, and you have the option of taking the pathway of the martyr, so that's a pretty good deal, all things considered, especially when the alternative is to bear your burden properly and to live forthrightly in the world. If you live a pathological life, you pathologize your society. And if enough people do that, then it's hell. Really. Really.
The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you think.
And you can read the Gulag Archipelago and you'll see exactly what hell is like. And then you can decide if that's a place you'd like to visit, or even more importantly, if it's a place you'd like to visit and take all your family and friends. Because that's what happened in the 20th century.
Human beings are entirely creatures of habit. Young children are born with no habit loops. They're essentially born as blank slates. And then they habituate themselves to things and they learn patterns and they get conditioned and they use that to get through everyday life. And habits are good. Habits are good. Habits are good. Habits can allow you to background process certain things. Habits are good so that your frontal lobe stays available to solve brand new problems. So unconsciously pick up habits in the background and we keep them for decades and we may not realize that they're bad for us. So we're ready to move on from them. To some extent, you know, our attitude in life, our mood, our happiness levels, depression levels, these are also habits. Do we judge people? Habits. How often do we eat? What kinds of food do we eat? Habits. Do we walk or do we sit? Do we move? Do we exercise? Habits. Do we read? Do we read? Do we read? These are
habits as well.
You absolutely need habits to function. You cannot solve every problem in life as if it's the first time it's thrown at you. What we do is we accumulate all these habits, we put them in the bundle of identity, ego, ourselves, and and then we get attached to that. I'm Shane, this is the way I am. I'm Naval, this is the way I am. It's really important to be able to uncondition yourself, to be able to take your habits apart and say, oh, okay, well, that's a habit that I probably picked up from when I was a toddler and I was trying to get my parents' attention. And now I've just reinforced it and reinforced it and reinforced it, and I call it part of my identity. But is it serving me anymore? Is it making me happier? Is it making me healthier? Is it making me accomplish whatever I want to set out to accomplish right now? And so I think you can uncondition yourself. You can untrain yourself. It's just hard. It takes work. It takes effort. And usually the big habit changes come when there's strong desire motivators attached to them. Habits are good. Habits are good. Habits are good. Habits are good.
You know, when people think of the word mind control, they think of controlling other people's minds. And when I think about mind control, I think about controlling your own mind. Because while I am obviously a physical person and I embrace physicality, we are our minds. What it means and where the you actually is, and whether there's a soul or a brain or whatever, your heart or some other conjured up place. This is what I know, is that your mind, the thing that is listening and comprehending these words right now, that is you. And that thing, that mind, you can control. You are the machine. Mind control. You are the machine. Mind control. And you can control the machine. Me, how do I get tougher? Be tougher. They ask me, how can I wake up earlier in the morning? The answer is, wake up earlier in the morning. How can I work out consistently every single day? Work out consistently every single day. How can I stop from eating sugar? Stop eating sugar. What about the emotions? How can I stop missing that girl or that guy or whoever broke up with me? How can I stop missing them? Stop missing them. That is mind control. You have that ability. You just have to assert it. You have to decide that you're going to be in control. Mind control. You are the machine. Mind control. And you can control the machine. Mind control. You have that ability. Mind control. And then you're going to do what you want to do. Weakness doesn't get a vote. Laziness, they they don't get a vote. Sadness, no vote. Frustration, no vote. Negativity, you don't get a vote. I don't even give my temper a vote. So the next time you're feeling weak, or you're feeling lazy, or you're feeling soft, or you're feeling emotional, tell them that they don't get a vote. Tell them you are declaring martial law on your mind. You're declaring mind control.
Yeah.
And impose what you want on your brain. Mind control. You are a machine. Mind control. And you can control that machine. Mind control. You have that ability. Mind control. And that you are going to do what you want to do. Impose the discipline and the power and the positivity and the will. And use that mind control to move your life where you want it to be. It's the things I always say. Get stronger, faster, smarter, quicker, friendlier, more helpful, more driven. Don't let your mind control you. Control your mind. And once you control your mind, then you can set it free.
Yeah, what is up? Make some noise in the chat, drop them wave emojis. Make some noise for you down south. Shouts out to the new members. Thank you for the super chats. You are appreciated. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. Yo.
Nothing is more pathetic than people who run around in circles, delving into the things that lie beneath, and conducting investigation into the souls of the people around them, when all you have to do is pay attention to the power inside you and worship it sincerely. Keep it becoming muddled with turmoil, becoming aimless and dissatisfied with nature. Just worship it sincerely. Keep it becoming muddled with turmoil, becoming aimless and dissatisfied with nature. Divine and human deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us.
Yo. Hey.
Akira. And I pity too, sometimes for its inability to tell good from bad is terrible. A blindness as the kind that can't tell white from black. Even if you're gonna live 3,000 more years or 10 times that, remember, you can't lose another life than this one. You can't live another day and you're losing. Longest demands to the same as the shortest. The present is the same for everyone. Is lost is the same for everyone. And it should be clear that a brief instant is all that is lost. Cause you can't lose even past or the future. How could you lose what you don't have? Hey, remember two things. One, everything has always been the same. 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 Keeps recurring. Hey, hey, everything has always been the same. 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 Keeps recurring. What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our affection because it is like us.
What is divine deserves our respect because it is good. What is human deserves our respect because it is like us. Yo!
Everything has always been the same. 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 Everything is the longest lived, and those who will die soonest lose the same thing. The present is all they can give up. The present is all they can give up. Since that's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose. Hey, hey, hey. That's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose. That's all you have, and what you do not have, you cannot lose.
Yeah.
Make some noise to Marcus Aurelius up in this thing.
He's got clout.
Yeah. Hey. It's that modern day Marcus Aurelius himself. Go Jocko Willink in the house, make some noise. Bruh.
You could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it. What would it say? And why?
One of my I guess my mantra is a very simple one. Discipline equals freedom.
Yo!
Discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 freedom.
The answer is discipline.
Yeah.
You want more free time? Follow a more disciplined time management system. You want financial freedom? Implement long-term financial discipline in your life. Do you want to be physically free to move how you want? To be freed from many health issues caused by poor lifestyle choices? Then you have to have the discipline to eat healthy food and consistently work out. We all want freedom. Discipline is the only way to get it.
Okay.
Discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 equals freedom,
Equals freedom.
Discipline starts with waking up early. It really does. But that is just the beginning. It is working out every day. It is eating the right foods to fuel your system correctly. It is disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It is about having the discipline to control your ego so it doesn't get out of hand and control you. It is about treating people the way you would want to be treated. It is about doing the tasks you don't want to do, but you know will help you. Discipline is about facing your fears so you can conquer them. Discipline means taking the hard road, the uphill road, to do what is right for you and for others.
Fuck up.
Discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 equals discipline equals freedom, 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 equals equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom.
So often, the easy path calls us to be weak for that moment, to break down another time, to give in to desire and short-term gratification. Discipline will not allow that. Discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. It won't accept weakness. It won't tolerate a breakdown in will. Discipline can seem like your worst enemy, but in reality, it is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can. Yeah. And it will put you on the path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness. And most important, discipline will put you on the path to freedom.
Yeah.
Discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline
equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom, equals freedom,
discipline
equals freedom, 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 equals
discipline. Discipline.
Yes!
Discipline.
Yo, make some noise for Hercules on the lights. Young Hercules just ran in, he stole that light control button, he went crazy on them lights. This is that last song for this particular Meaningwave live set. Yo, make some noise in the chat. Make some noise for yourself. Make some noise for these tunes. Make some noise for these speakers. Make some noise for these moments. Make some noise for the best times to be alive in recorded human civilization.
What would be
Make some noise for Roger Scruton, rest in peace, yes.
what would be the forms of culture that we would say to be necessary or most inclined to foster in the individual that glowing of the flame?
I think the most accessible form for most people is music. And music, to me, is the most representational form of art, because I think that the world is made out of patterns. And we perceive some patterns as objects, but fundamentally it's patterns. And what you want is all the patterns of the world to interact harmoniously in something where every element is related intelligibly to every other element. And I think that when your life is in harmony, then you can feel that. When you're dancing to beautiful music, you're acting that out. The music is the music of the spheres, and you're participating in the patterning of your being in accordance with that structure, and that gives you an intimation of transcendence. Music is everything. Music is everything. It's not criticizable. That's the thing that's so lovely about it, is even as our society has become more cynical and more self-destructive and more deconstructionist, the power of music has in fact grown. Because it speaks to that eternal harmony. And the reality of that eternal harmony in a way that mere intellect cannot deny. And I mean, I was always amused. I went to this show, the Ramones, a punk band from New York. It was the loudest concert I'd ever heard by a good factor of 10. My ears rang for like 3 days afterwards. And there were all these like nihilistic punk rockers all crammed into this theater, and below me there was a mosh pit. It was like ants on a frying pan. And they were just smashing into each other and throwing people around up above them, and it was quite rough. And they were all having this beautifully transcendent musical experience that belied all of their nihilism. And they absolutely thrived on it. It was like, and even the lyrics were harsh and nihilistic, but it didn't matter because the music in its rough form was something that united them in the sense of this like patterned beauty and brought them together. And so exposure to music, people die without music. It's like, music is everything. Music is Music is everything. Music is everything. Music is everything. Music is everything.
Music is everything. Music is everything. Yeah, make some noise! Make some damn noise in the chat with your wave emojis, you Batman pajamas assembled in the building tonight.